Yes, yes, yo, ciao ragazzi. My name is Anthony. My brother to the left, right, wherever he is Uncle Sharma. You know what it is. It's that link up therapy session everybody knew that they needed post finishing this campeonato. He needs no introduction, but my bro, it is so good to see you and to link up again. How you doing?
Thank you, Anthony, for having me on. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to the domestic double champions of Italy.
Shout out to Snatchers. Shout out to Uncle
Of
Sharma for
course.
coming on as well. It's going to be a good one. We're going to talk a little bit about finishing runners up and what it means going forward. We're going to talk a little bit more about the incoming transfers that could come in and how we're going to go through into the next campeonato. But I'm pretty sure every single person, including the 23 that are live with us now, 22 that are live with us now, know all your thoughts and all of your opinions. But let's do it one more time, Uncle Sharma. How you feeling about the heartbreaking scenario that we were the one good thing, bro, we were given a little bit of time to prepare for the sorrow. Usually it's Pazza Inter style, like let's have it yanked out in the last second and whatnot. But dude, three match days before it was over, relying on other teams, 3 goals by halftime. Milan buried it, bro. They really did.
Bro, I congratulated some Milan guys like weeks ago, and they thought I was trying to jinx them, all that kind of stuff. Like, and I think I mean, I think you don't care because you wear your like negativity thing on your badge, but I try to like, even if I'm like negative, like I was pretty resigned on this for like a while, but because I
Yeah.
felt like I needed to be positive on my channel, I was trying to give this kind of, it can happen, anything can happen type of vibe on the channel. But deep down, I knew that none of these teams are going to come through for us in that Milan. There was just this kind of, there was just this air of like, I don't know, they just kept going through, like it was just inevitable, almost like, Thanos in the Avengers. It was just like they were just sweeping teams aside, and the way that no one can seem to be able to defend Rafael Leao, like just take the guy out, bro. Like foul him, take him out, like do something. Don't just let him go past you. It's ridiculous. It's yeah.
It,
So
it,
and today, or last night, I don't know how it is for you guys. Just the watching. I mean, the celebration is fine with Milan, like the whole celebration, the parade. Like obviously, I'm jealous that actually they got to do it properly because obviously we had the COVID situation in Italy when we won last year, and it was annoying that it was nice, but we didn't get to do the full Milan like it's out there and full bus parade. But this, the banners that they're doing, bro, like the players, this is like the classless a little bit.
I was gonna ask you about that as well, man, because I swear I've never seen in my life a professional football team celebrate and go at it to that extent. Like I'm all for banter, I'm all for a good time, but it was very personal, and like you gotta wonder, was there really something else going on behind the scenes that we didn't know about with the whole Hakan Milan ordeal? Because that looked personal. You can't just get up on a bus and call that sort of stuff out without having some sort of prelude to that, man.
Yeah, like we can do it as fans. That's completely fine. Like I'm expecting Milan fans to have Hakan blow up dolls and whatever they're doing, and
Yeah.
all that kind of stuff. That's fine. But players, professionals, like fellow professionals, doing that on the bus, but it makes the Milan derby, it's like so spicy now, which I love. I love that there's no excuses now. Like these boys need to hang up these banners on their like locker rooms when they come back into Piano Gentile, and like look at that every single day. And
Yep.
they even had a picture of Inzaghi. Is just like right, probably the fans made the banners. Like I'm not saying the players made the banners, but why would you hold up a banner of like Inzaghi, crying and stuff? Like it's weird.
It was personal to a lot of these players, man. I feel like probably having us break the Juve curse before them might have hurt a little bit. Not liking the attention that we got, but they've got every right to celebrate the way that they want to celebrate. And at the end of the day, hopefully it makes them go into next season a little bit more complacent and a little bit more cocky. But hey, it's fair play. Fair play is fair play. They are the champions. But more importantly, let's focus on us, man, because I wanted you here not only to vent for myself, but we're going to be able to talk more about the positives going into next season, because there was a lot to celebrate this season going into next season. If you gave us this sort of metric at the start of 2021-22, you know, the domestic cup double with the cherry on top of the icing, you get to beat Juve in both of those cup finals in extra time and break their hearts. Not only that, you also get to qualify for the Champions League very early. You also get to go to the round of 16, be one of the only teams. I think maybe the only. Are we still the only team to have beaten Liverpool at Anfield this season? Is that still a thing?
I think so, yeah.
Possibly, even if it's not one of two teams to beat Liverpool at Anfield this season. And yeah, man, in a Scudetto race until the last day of the season. It wasn't all doom and gloom. What are your thoughts, bro? You're pretty confident that we can. Yeah, I did that on purpose. That was like slide 4. Yeah, it was slide 4 at school, and I'm like, you know what? I'll just drag this one up here. So, ice cold Tuchel Correa, scoring when it matters most. But you know, going into next season, my guy, we've still got a lot to be positive about. So, talk me through how you think we're going to go through the next season and challenge once again for that second star, because that's the objective every season from now on.
Yeah. I think whatever happens this summer, the club must say, like, they can't say to Inzaghi and the players that, you know, the objective is top 4. Like, whatever happens in the summer, even if, you know, we don't strengthen like, you know, considerably, they have to still, because of the level in Serie A, we've seen it now. You know, people point to this season of Serie A being weak, but this previous season wasn't much better either. It's just that Inter were just so much better than everyone else. But this is the level of Serie A. I don't think, you know, teams will get better, but I don't think they will be like, you know, blowing. They will just be becoming like European powerhouses. So you just need a few puzzle pieces here and there to improve, like, as we know already. So if we can do that, then we're already ready to be challenging for the title as we saw this season. We
Yeah.
just need to add a few more bits and pieces, more depth, so we don't die in the middle of the season, as Inzaghi can actually rotate. And there we're there. It really doesn't take much. I just hope that we don't have a really bad transfer market like we did last summer. That's the most important. We can't have Beppe and Auxilio doing damage control again. We need to be actually progressing the squad in some way.
Yeah, being proactive rather than reactive. And I guess it starts with renewing the brother on the screen here. What a season he had, man. Like, you got to give him, I'm happy to give him a pay bump. What I don't want to give him is 3 years. I think there's a big difference between giving him 2 years and 3 years at his age and in his position. We can't really be held to contract ransom talks by a 33-year-old wingback. And it's sorry to say that he is our best player this season. And I actually don't even think it's a competition, although there's a good shout for Skriniar and Brozovic as well. But I would say Perisic. Tell us all, who was your player of the season as well, my guy?
Yeah, for me, it's easy as him. It's Perisic. It was just consistency. You know, not recency bias, but, you know, this is the most important stretch of the season. Like Rafael Leao stepped up for Milan in this stretch, kind of came clutch. He was doing the same for us. And yeah, I don't really remember a bad game from him. Like, you know, if I'm gonna be harsh, I do remember bad games here and there from Skriniar and Brozo, but with him, I just remember always at least 6 out of 10 performance, and he's just always. I think he's our most creative outlet, because even if you call it cross and inshallah, like, the guy is still creating something. So it has to be him. And yeah, I agree with you. Give him the little bump he wants. I think they are. Oh, again, they've reiterated the offer I read today. That is, they met yesterday. 2-year contract again, which is what we want. 5 million base, and then pushing him up to 6 with the bonuses, which, you know, happy with that.
It's a 12 million operation for a 2-year deal, guaranteed in that position. You know, this guy has looked like our fittest, most athletically pleasing player all field, and now we're probably going to talk about giving him rest and minutes next season for Gosens. So, you know, it's a win-win for him. He gets a little bit less responsibility and accountability for his physical appearances, for his physicality on the pitch as well, but he gets a pay rise for it. If that's not living the dream, I really don't know what is. So,
what do you make of the Gosens signing, bro? Like, does it not feel a bit like, even if you renew him, like, it almost feels? I mean, it's great to have him, but in our situation, wouldn't you want to spend that money on somewhere else, like on the striker, on you know, the center mid position, like, you know?
Are we obligated to renew Gosens?
Yeah. It was like a 18-month or like a 12-month obligation, but it's like the Korea deal.
I'm happy to renew him. Like something was definitely up towards the back end of the season with his physical levels, his injury, but I still almost laminate down to Ivan Perisic almost being irreplaceable, man, even unsubstitutable for a period of time. Did Marco got a few substitutes in there and realized that the downgrade on the offensive end at the start of the season was just way too much to handle. So he subbed in a little bit more at the back, but hopefully we put it down to that because it would be a waste, my bro. It would be a waste to get a beast like Gosens, who he just looks like a Hulk, bro. He's an absolute tank. The guy is a tank. So if you're telling me he's not fit enough to run around even for 20 minutes, maybe Limone was, because there was so much riding and so much at stake at the end of the season. It just, and combined with the fact that Perisic was the best player, maybe it's just all aligning for Gosens to have a bit of an explosion next season, man. Hopefully.
Yeah. No, I was just wondering, like, it just almost feels like we've got like this Lamborghini parked on the bench, not Sanchez, just okay, let's call him like what's those big ones, a Hummer. He's like a Hummer parked up on the bench.
Yeah, but you forgot your keys, so
yeah,
unfortunate. Talking about Sanchez and the other Chilean, Arturo Vidal, we're going to say goodbye to them in the off season. Something we've done well, because I think that they've both got a year left on their contract. It doesn't look like we're paying out any severances. No Raja Nainggolan mafioso level extortion up in there. Vidal and Sanchez are out.
No, I think there will be something, bro. I think with
You reckon?
Vidal, with Vidal, it's in his contract there. They have to pay him. There's like an exit clause, and then with Sanchez, they're gonna have to. They're gonna have to, unless with Sanchez, I think it could be if maybe a club actually takes him, like just as a.
I thought I read that there was like a mutual termination agreement for Vidal and Inter, and that's what was able to get him to sign for Flamengo a little bit quicker, because aren't the Brazilians on a little bit of a different calendar to us?
Yeah, but the mutual termination is like, as in, like there's an agreement there that they have to pay him like 4 million to F off.
Damn. So we're going to have to pay him something, just not as much as we'd have to pay to keep him on the books for another year, which is about
He's still saving money.
Yeah, to save money, you have to spend money in this case for Inter. Let's move on to something else I want to talk about. You see the guy in the middle, Bastoni. I hate these rumors, man. I hate these rumors coming out that it could be some lucrative offer from Man City and Pep coming his way. I hope we don't even sit down for that. I think we can raise enough funds to get by without pumping through Lautaro and Bastoni. And this is the last thing that we're going to talk about before we bring Bruno in to join the chat as well. So what are you thinking about Bastoni, man? Because I saw one tweet today. I think it might have been from Nico Skira or somebody else that was at least half credible. And big shout out to your video. You did a really cool video about a week and a half ago going, beware of the fake news. That was a great video, man. I retweeted that, and I hope everybody had a good chance to see that, because that was very, very informative about the sort of tiers to look at and who to really look at properly and who's just employing writers to write stories. But I saw today that Lautaro is definitely in our plans. He's not leaving, man. It's not even going to be entertained. He's a part of the future and everything else. I really hope this doesn't mean Bastoni's on the outs.
Yeah, I think anyone is up for sale. As in they're not like on a list that they're transfer listed, but if someone comes for Lautaro again with a serious offer like 70 million plus, I think it's just that Suning's legs start to buckle very quickly, bro. They like once the serious offer comes in, that loan that they took out last year, that's the big issue, because they're still paying that and there's a big interest rate on that. So they're really using however quickly they can repay that by using these player sales to repay that, unfortunately, because they're not able to pump their own money into the club. If someone comes again, same for Bastoni. Bastoni is, we've always talked about, there's three untouchables for me in this team, which is Bastoni, Barella, and Skriniar.
Yeah,
he's one of those three. He's the future of Italy, pretty much by default, because there's no other centre back talent in Italy, unfortunately, at the moment. Outstanding anyway. He's left-footed, young, actually good at defending. I think he still can improve on that, but there's such a unique profile. So for me, it has to be kind of like that Maguire, Van Dijk level money if someone comes in, because if they're paying 50 million for relegated Nathan Ake, they can. Man City need to spit out 70 million plus for him.
of course.
But yeah, that's the situation for me, bro. I don't think anyone is off the table. That's the reality of things.
100%. All right, let's move a little bit as to what might happen in the season. We're also bringing in Bruno, looking very sexy with his glasses on. Good to see you, bro. this is the one that's dominating the headlines. And to be honest, after not winning the Scudetto, I just want it. It's like I missed out on something, and I'll take the next present on the shelf. But it looks very, very real. It looks like there's almost nothing else happening for the guy in the background, whether or not he's refused office. Dybala looks like he could be on his way. Bruno, first of all, welcome onto the video. It's nice to have you. And how are you feeling going into next season? What's your expectations for the Mercato?
Look, I think the start of the season that just finished, everything was thrown into disarray. We had Lukaku leaving, Conte leaving. Lukaku was very much last minute, and we dived in to get Dzeko as quickly as possible. Hakimi was always on the books to leave, and I think we did a good job with Dumfries, but then the whole Christian Eriksen saga just really buckled, and bringing in a manager who he went from getting a breakfast where this is what you're eating to a smorgasbord of buffet where he could choose whatever he want. It's one of those things where the first time you go to the buffet, you're gonna eat too much too quickly, and we learnt that really quickly with Inzaghi. He just ate too much and thought he could run with what Conte established, and it's not like that as a manager. But he settled down. He had a great season. You got to say, he had a great season. We got out of the Champions League group. Yes, we lost to Liverpool. We got knocked out. But at the same time, we didn't get humiliated like the last season and the season prior. But at the same time, we're looking at, okay, we won the Supercoppa. We won the Coppa Italia. But that's a trophy that a team like Sassuolo or Lazio would celebrate winning because their expectations aren't that high. Now, Inzaghi's done that. He's won that. He's won the more trophies than what Conte won. But at the same time, the level's not there. And I think the difference between first and second this year is 2 million euros. Now, I think the winner gets 23 million. Oh, sorry, 4 million. The winner gets 23 million euros and the second place get 19.
How much did Burnley
Burnley
get
got relegated and received 80 million pounds for being relegated. So there's a massive discrepancy, but Inter have become a name. They've become a name again. So to lure players isn't like what it was 3-4 years ago pre-Conte in the Spalletti era. It's Inter's now a destination to play and grow, not a pathway to lead to a better club. So you've got these players like Bastoni and Barella who are thriving, but you've also got players like Dybala who could pick wherever he wants to go. And this Mercato will be very important as a lure to a lot of players. So personally, I think the Mercato isn't going to be crazy. You know, we're not going to have links to, massive players all over the place. But at the same time, we're going to get our targets. And our targets aren't, the Ronaldos and Messis of the world. Our targets are viable options where we will develop these players, still remain competitive, but like your Bonucci and Chiellini for Juventus, be formidable for such a long time. And I said this 2 years ago when the Tonali deal fell through. Conte chose Vidal over Tonali to win a title now, not to grow him as an individual. Looking back on it, well, Tonali would fit a lot better in our landscape than Vidal. But at the same time, now we got to look to build a squad which is competitive, but isn't going to be dismantled. Perisic, you touched on it earlier. We get him for 2 years. That's a fantastic deal because you can blood a player into that position and have a swift changeover. But if you sign him for any longer, he's only getting older. Now, what we haven't touched on is there's a World Cup coming up in December. So these players are going to be playing their heart out. But at the same time, players like Barella, Bastoni aren't going to be at a World Cup. So we're not risking too much if we go for the Italians, because they're going to be in camp. They're going to be playing. They're going to be accustoming themselves to Inzaghi and the Inter way, while the rest of the world is fighting for a World Cup. So Italy not qualifying, stab in the heart, but at the same time could be a blessing in disguise, where we've got this period of 4 weeks that these players won't be playing a single game.
Man,
They
Barella
might
deserves
go
that
to-
rest so much. Barella, poor guy, he deserves.
Oh, they
He's still
definitely-
waiting for it, bro.
They definitely deserve the rest. They definitely deserve the time off. But at the same time, they're gonna be nice and refreshed. Pick a couple of players out of that Milan team who aren't gonna be playing international duty, other than Tonali, and Ibra.
Yeah.
Like this is our time to refresh, And back on the Bastoni comment, I'm not sure if you guys saw the interview with Chiellini where they said, is Bastoni going to be your successor in the national squad? He said, no, Bastoni's not going to be my successor, because Bastoni's going to be Bastoni. He's his own player. Will he be there as long as me? Definitely. Will he be good as me? He'll be better. But if that's the case, we need Bastoni to remain. Get rid of the Fro.
Yeah, well, hopefully in an ideal situation, you can still cash in 20 million or something for De Vrij, but that's starting to look like a reach towards the back end of his contract and looking at his form. Ideally, if you're asking me, I really think there's an offer coming in for Dumfries, which is going to really light up the Plus Valenza end. I'm not saying I want him to go. I'm very happy. To me, he's the surprise package of the season, as I said on yesterday's stream, and I'd love for Zeal's opinion on that as well. So Zeal, over to you. Dybala, is it happening, man? And we're going to be doing a lot of these ones this season, bro. A lot of butthurt Juventini trying to say, "Oh, we don't want him anymore. He's unfit. Look at, I can't even see his top 2 abs." But,
bro, as soon as the first injury comes through, they're gonna be atting at us on Twitter. Like, oh, we told Interisti he's injured, bro. But no, yeah, it looks like pretty much, from what I understand, like pretty much done sign. Because there's not really many offers on the table for him, Dybala, which is surprising, but also not surprising, because he's one of those players who kind of, you guys know, like kind of a dying breed. They don't really have a position in this game, really, because that number 10 position doesn't quite exist anymore. So in the 3-5-2, the guy behind the main striker, that's really, in modern football, that's the only real position for him. So it makes 100% sense that Inter is the project for him. Dumfries wise, again, like I've never been too big of a fan of him. Like, even when everyone's hyping him up in the Euros, like, I really appreciated his like physicality and all that. And he's been great since he's come in, but that's still an upgradable position for sure. I mean, the fact that Matty Doms still gets in ahead of him a lot of times, not that I'm slandering Matty Doms, we love Matty Doms on here, but it just shows that we can do better in that position. But again, I don't want to be chopping and changing, and like, he's had this year of adaptation now, Dumfries. So if we are able to just keep him and go again next year, not chop and change too much, because then if we bring someone new from a different league, then you're like, gonna give him another year to adapt Inzaghi's tactics, Italian tactics, that kind of stuff. So it has to be like 35-40 million, I think, if someone comes in for Dumfries, in my opinion.
Yeah, and staying on you here, Zio, to me, this is the most important one. To me, if you could lock up this signing here and sell De Vrij, then, as I've been saying for a long time, you are automatic title contenders once again. Just from a sheer tactical perspective, you get to play the exact brand of football you want in that 3-5-2 with Skriniar, Bremer, and Bastoni right there. Like, talk about a safety net, bro. Like, that would be something else. I still haven't wrapped my head around a back three of that, and I don't think I'll be able to believe it until I see it. Is this guy still priority number one for you? And how far do you think we are in these negotiations, man? Can we wrap this one up ASAP? Because that'll really, really swing the vibes back to a big positive in our fan base.
Yeah, I'm not sure about how far we are with him. Because it seems like all I've read on him is that we've got the agreement with him.
That's
all
it.
is left with is Torino, but that's the biggest part. That's 90%.
That's 90% of it when you're under a new contract.
So he's a game changer, because this guy is so aggressive. Like, he's crazy in terms of our defensive line will go up like 10-15 yards just because he's there, because De Vrij is a back foot defender. This guy is a front foot defender. Like, this guy will come in behind you, clatter the striker, win the ball cleanly, lead a counter attack, and yeah, he'll change the face of our defense. The only problem I have with him is the fact that I feel like, long term, I think Skriniar should be the middle of the three. Like, and he's been playing in the middle of the three, and I think that's the position like where I think all the defenders want to play in the middle of the three, because you're the most protected in that middle of the three.
Yeah.
You don't have to defend 1v1 against Rafael Leao and all those kind of guys. So it'll be interesting to see whether, because I think he's a little bit more athletic than Skriniar, that maybe they could swap around. I don't know, but that's the only doubts I have. But he's a straight upgrade on De Vrij straight away. So I hope that gets done ASAP.
Yeah. Bruno, over to you. Bremer obviously strengthens the lineup, and going into next season would rest assured that we probably would be able to rotate a little bit more freely in midfield as well. But obviously your thoughts on him, but how do you think Inter's going to attack this Mercato? Surely Marotta's got his good eye on it.
Oh, I think he's got his bad eye on it too. I think this is the player that he wants. Like, I feel if he was only to get Bremer in this transfer market, he would be satisfied, because he's bolstered that defense, and with Onana coming into the squad, it's definitely something that he really is focusing on, defense. Now, I think it would be good to see between Skriniar and Bremer balancing in that middle spot, just to find who works better there. I just feel Bastoni, he likes to wander up the pitch a bit, and there's that many times where I'm thinking it's Perisic going to put the cross in, and it's Bastoni at the end of the ball, and he knows what he's doing because he does a fantastic job at it. So I honestly think there'll be a couple of experiments occurring if we do get Bremer, and if De Vrij does leave the club, just to see what works better, because what works at Torino definitely won't work at Inter. So it's definitely something that he is in for, as well as I think the rumors, and I'm only going to use the word rumors because there's nothing really coming, is Kostic, another player both Inter and Juventus are linked with at this current point in time. But like you said, in regards to Dumfries, he's not a player I'd want to sell. He had that breaking in period. And after that, he was a different player. The players weren't scared to pass to him anymore. He was just very versatile. He wasn't the best, but he definitely made up for a lot of those shortcomings that he had at the start of the season. Again, Bremer, he had a nice long chat with Mourinho after the final fixture of the season, which does scare me, because it doesn't matter who is coming to you when Mourinho is talking to you personally. It's definitely something that's extremely appealing. And Roma, I think 48 hours from now, will be fighting for that Conference League final, and that result there could determine a lot as well. So again, we've got a lot of big name managers within Italy now, and I just think sometimes it's not the team, it's the manager. So it'll be interesting to see. Bremer definitely needs to come into this squad. There's a comment there from Emiliano, who is coming to replace Dzeko. I don't think we need someone to come in to replace Dzeko. I think we've got him there in Il Tuco. He just needs Inzaghi's confidence. I feel Dzeko would be fantastic as the super sub to come in, and I don't think he'd complain sitting on the bench, getting that money and coming in with 15 to go and putting a ball, being painted the hero.
Yeah, well said, man. And next season, like we know Dzeko's not going to be the one that leaves this season. He's going to be the one on the bench, hopefully to mentor somebody else. But, we're in between a rock and a hard place deciding who we want to come in and where to delegate our funds to. If we need to actually pay a transfer fee for Bremer, it's going to be very hard to get some other deals over the line. So we definitely need to make sure we reach our our projected whatever the hell it is Suning wants us to raise, because there are another couple of positions that need enforcing. And this guy's on the radar as well to sort of be a vice Brozovic Aslani from Empoli, who's had a very decent season as well, especially considering that this is their first season in Serie A. Sharma, I noticed that when you said Brozovic wasn't one of the 3 unsellables, I'm glad you said it, because I really agree with this statement. Our problem is we've gotten so dependent on the guy. I feel like there's not a player in the whole realm of European or world football that's able to come in and do a job that Marcelo Brozovic is able to do. Am I wrong, or is he the only one that can do it? We need to start getting used to the fact that he can't play every second of the season, because it was embarrassing when he didn't play in that stretch, Zil.
Yeah, it's like Milan. There's one of the great things they did is like it doesn't matter who was injured. They was just like anyone just came in and plugged in. Kier was out pretty much for the season. Romagnoli got injured. Tomori was injured. Magnan
Kalulu
was
cost
injured.
them like 1.2 million, bro.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So it's like it's not the end of the world if a key player gets injured. But for us, it seems like as soon as Brozovic goes, and it's the end of it. Or yeah, I mean, imagine if Perisic was injured this season, like it would have been like it's still. I mean, before Gosens came in, it would have been very difficult to see anyone doing that type of performance. So we need to start. Yeah, I don't know if it's more Inzaghi just not trusting his substitutes, or he's just kind of doesn't rate them, or he just doesn't think they're good enough. But yeah, we need if we bring us. I really like Aslani because I really like Ricci, and then he went to Torino, and then this guy came in, and I was like, I even like him even more than Ricci. Um, but if we bring him in, we need the commitment from Inzaghi that this guy is actually going to play football, like not just charity minutes. Because like people are talking about bringing Gume back as well. Like that's that would be good as well. It seems like Gume's had a good season in Ligue 1, but there's no point bringing these guys back if you're not going to give them minutes. So we need some sort of commitment from Inzaghi that he's going to be, developing players as well now. Like, we have to change slightly our squad profile this season. So many 30 plus years old are leaving. Vecino's leaving. Vidal, Sanchez. So the squad is going to freshen up, and it's not gonna be straight plug and play. I think of experienced players coming in, and I think this fan base also wants to see some younger players coming in. I think as a squad, we've been quite like old in general, especially since Conte came in. I think it's time to bring some youth in. So, and Inzaghi hasn't really shown that at Lazio either. Like I remember the Lazio fans, Jerry, Stephen K. Moore, like they always talked about Inzaghi never gave the youth any chance at Lazio either. So there's going to be a bit of change needed from Inzaghi, because if we can't spend that much money on players, we need to start also developing players, like Milan did. So yeah, that's a development that we need from Inzaghi too.
And I did read reports that Belotti might be leaving Torino, and as a result, Pinamonti is in Torino's radar. So there could be a potential swap with cash for Bremer, really reducing that transfer
that would be
number.
nice.
At the same time, after what Pinamonti did to Napoli, I'm sure his value definitely went up after that game there.
He's literally stat padded his way to a 20 million plus euro value, man. Like he's had a good season. I want to give him more credit than that. But when I go back and watch his goals, they are very, very easy goals to score.
Would you guys consider Gundogan from City? He is apparently.
Of course. Who would have considered Gundogan, man?
What is he on? Like 6.57 bags a week?
But at the same time, he's definitely worth it. And just even watching him on the last match day, Pep brought him on with 18 to go, and he scored 2 goals and had them up 3-2 after 5 minutes of being on the pitch. And he's clearly leaving. Pep's made it clear that, they're looking to a future, as well as Raheem Sterling, which I don't think we can, get that value for. But I think Gundogan would be a good player to come in for potentially Barella leaving the club if he does go to Real.
Yeah, fair call. Although those rumors don't seem to be picking up as much momentum. But if they
Real
do,
is
Real will come with
going
80 million.
Real is going to rip people a new one after being humiliated by Mbappe. I promise you, this transfer window, they are going to get anyone, even if they don't need the players, they're going to just get them just to show they are the powerhouse, and no one like Mbappe is going to ruin them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perez didn't get his shiny toy in the window and he is pissed off. He's not happy at all. Zeal, let's talk about some of the better moments before we finish off what's been an awesome video. There's 31 with us right now. Make sure you like the video, subscribe, and let me know if you are new. Zeal, we had some pretty good moments this season still. What are some of the highlights for you, man? Talk us through the cup finals. I remember we linked up very briefly for like 30 seconds after the Copa. I remember we linked up after the Super Copa where like I had a panic attack on camera because yeah, bro, I didn't think it was actually possible in the universe to do that against Juventus in a cup final. Like, you know how it's all set for penalties. There's only going to be one team that chews you out of a game or snakes you out of a game like that. And Alexis Sanchez, Mr. Lamborghini, able to do it. So those are two of the highlights for me. I loved the 3-0 victory over Milan in the Supercoppa semi-final. In the Coppa Italia semi-final. And just that, for me, when I look back at the season, that split second of qualifying for the round of 16 was a good feeling as well. It was on match day 5, and I was just stupidly happy to know that the club had made that extra step in progression and that one objective was ticked off for the season. So when
After we drew Ajax, I was even more happier.
I'll never forget that night
for
as
like
well, bro.
an hour.
That was horrible. That was a horrible feeling. But yeah, what are your highlights, Zil? When you look back at 21-22, what makes you smile?
Yeah. I mean, this is I was talking with Mo the other day. He gave the season 7, and I just had to give that extra 0.5 because
Yeah.
3 wins against Juve, like that. I don't think this has ever happened in Inter's history because Juve are like, in the
Two
in the head to head.
finals.
Yeah, 2 finals. Even the one in the league, that was their killer for their Scudetto run.
Yeah.
Because I know Anthony was like he was like believing in Juve like until the
Bro,
end.
if they won that game, they would have been ahead of us on the ladder and within striking distance of Milan. That would have been fucked. There's no other way to say it. Sorry.
Yeah, but that's exactly so. Like we killed their hopes in the league as well with the proper Allegri win as well against them at their stadium. So yeah, those 3 wins to me is the highlight because to me, I've always hated Juve a lot more than Milan. They've been like the ones I feel like proper animosity towards. Although as we talked earlier, it's starting to change now because of how Milan players, not just fans, are starting to pipe up. So things are starting to get spicy in Milan too. But yeah, that the Juve, the 3 on their head this season is just, yeah, I'm gonna remember this for a long time. And Inzaghi, yeah, he had the reputation for being a Juve killer. Remember, even at Lazio, so he stood up to that. But we need to improve the Milan derby next season.
That's when you look back at Inzaghi's fixtures, though. That's the only fixture he needed to improve. I'm quite impressed with the way he performed in big games. At the end of the day, he's actually scalped Napoli, Juve 3 times, as you said, Milan, Lazio, Roma. So he's gotten the whole big 6. I think bar Atalanta, what are we, 2-2 and 0-0 for Inzaghi? Yeah. So he's still had a very, very good debut season. Bruno, what about you? When you look back, what are the fondest memories for you?
I think the memory that finally made me comfortable with Inzaghi and with the squad was the Liverpool 1-0 win. We lost 2-0 away, but there was still heart, there was still grinta in those players, and you could see it on the pitch. And it just gave me confidence. At that point, I felt we could have ran away with that whole Scudetto, but it just showed that this squad is capable of so much more. And, they dealt Liverpool their only home loss so far this year. But at the same time, it's against what I would say one of the top 3 clubs within Europe on a week-by-week basis. I'm not going off Champions League and all of that, but it was a week-by-week basis of, okay, that's how it is. And I think Jonathan in the chat touched on a good note as well. it wasn't a game, but it was the way the team rallied behind Christian Eriksen after what happened. It just showed he wasn't in the squad for that long of a time, but how tight the family at Inter became, and how they were all heartbroken, and they all were there for him. And even Inter as a club, you could have done the shitty thing and said, sorry, see you later. We're not paying you anymore. Get out of here. But, it was one of those things where I think as a club, we matured a lot. Our Bastonis, our Barellas, they learned so much throughout the season. So it's given me confidence into the next couple of years, and I can't see the banter era returning anytime soon. But I just feel those wins, the titles, definitely. But as a club, as an entity, as a whole, I just think those moments just showed the true heart of Inter. And the barbecues, Tuco and Martinez doing the barbecues at training. It's you say, oh my
nice.
God, but
nice.
It's something you do with the boys at Sunday.
That's the heritage of Inter, man.
Yeah, the Asado clan lives forever.
It's like Sunday Park football. You're with your mates, you have a barbecue and a beer afterwards, and that's something that you just see the club really enjoys as an entity and as a whole. So I see the club really banding together, and it'll be really hard to see anyone really going. I think, though, my prediction is this transfer window will be dead compared to the summer, our summer, your winter transfer window in January, because you always get big transfers after an international competition. And I just think a lot of people will be riding their bets and saying, all right, let's wait until who can perform on the big stage.
Yeah, or you're more like who doesn't get injured in a World Cup. That's what they'll be saying before they make any chances for sure, because that's going to be risky business coming off a domestic season there. Lord Figo's in the chat, but I'm not really entertaining him today because he's trying to get some stuff from Sharma, and then he wants the hat as well. But to be honest, man, the Scudetto must be locked away in your house after claiming it all season, man. So until you return that one, all good. We'll entertain it in the next stream. That's it. That's going to be it for today, because it's starting to get to that point where I get hungry, which means Bruno's definitely going to be hungry soon. It's 6:15 p.m. here. Zio, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for lending us your time. Enjoy your day at work. But any parting words for the lovely people here before we let you go? And there'll be a lot more link ups in this off season between us.
No. Thank you for having me on. And check out my channel if you haven't. Always good to see Bruno, the OG, linking up. And guys, don't panic too much in the summer. Let's just see what happens. I think it's going to be an interesting summer. It's going to be, I think, the most interesting summer in a long time, because there's a big squad refresh coming in. Yeah.
You say don't panic, but there's going to be meltdowns every day on every single platform. You know it.
That's what me and Anthony are here for.
You know it, man. Thanks for coming through. Bruno as well. Thanks for coming through, man. I appreciate it, bruv.
Always a pleasure. And don't forget, not just Inter Worldwide, but don't forget to like and subscribe to everyone. Help us grow so we can get more content out to you guys.
Thank you very much from everyone here at Inter Worldwide. And
wait. Before we sign off, how do we go in the fantasy?
Let's check.
Bro, I swear I've crept up, because I started late and I've been creeping up. I
started, I think it was match day 24.
All right, guys.
This
guy we get it. It's a hollow victory.
This guy was calling me out on the live streams at the beginning.
Fuck, Zeal, bro. You got up to 5th. That's scary how much you climbed, man. I got to share this. That's horrible. How did you do that?
Exactly, bro. You were making fun of me, so I've been going on there on a weekly basis to change team.
Bro, you almost pipped me to the Champions League spots, man. I would have been like Arsenal all over this shit, man. 5th place and everything. Look at that. That's horrible. You were like page 3 at one point. I didn't even beat you by that many points. One more bad match day and it would have been done.
If I started from the beginning, man, I would have had this.
It would have been chaos. Looking forward to next season. All right, let's find Bruno just to finish this off.
I got a 3. Page 3.
Yeah. No, next season we'll do it properly, guys. How many members we got?
75. So I'm going to try and get that to 100 next
60th.
season. 60th out of 75. Not bad, man.
Hey,
Not
I started
bad.
match day 24.
I can't believe how much Zil crept up. That's funny. All right, guys. From all of us here at Inter Worldwide and Zil Sharma, Forza Inter. Ciao.
Ciao.